Zach Bagans, Ghost Adventures. Mr. Zach Bagans and his museum, in Las Vegas, his haunted museum. He displays all kinds of stuff there that he buys. It's kind of strange. It's kind of strange. You got anything to say about Zach? He's on the Travel Channel with the Ghost Adventure series. In 2004, Zach teamed up with Nick Groff and Aaron Goodwin to produce a documentary-style film called Ghost Adventures. Nearly 4 years after the first season and the first episode aired in the U.S., the crew stayed the night in the allegedly haunted Bobby Mackey's Music World. Yes, and I have the info on that, by the way. He claimed to receive several mysterious scratch marks to his back, and the series concluded its 14th season in May last year. It just started again. Interesting stuff. Although he's been criticized by some other paranormal enthusiasts for the aggressive and confrontational methods he uses during his investigations. But Zach has said I don't want the public perceiving us as the taunting, provocative ghost hunters. We do that only to the bad spirits who we know are attacking the living. What do you guys think of Zach? Boy, he's a strange character. Yeah, I have some information on the Dybbuk box. Say that 10 times. Seriously. He's an interesting character, no doubt. But he's got to be really careful, too. You just watched Ghost Adventures. They were... Oh, the Titanic Museum. That was a good one. Absolutely. Let's see. I'll get started on his... According to sources, Zach Bagans' Demon House is still dangerous. Child services case manager and a nurse swore up and down in 2012 that a 9-year-old boy had walked backward up a wall with a grin stretching his face. And then people started paying attention to the Demon House in Gary, Indiana. That's interesting. Wow. Okay. The boy and his 2 siblings were heard by their mother and grandmother speaking in demonic voices. A teenage girl was supposedly driven to a suicide attempt by the demons inhabiting the house. Exorcisms ensued, and Lee Daniels was reported eyeing the story for his next big film, believed by some to be inhabited by over 200 demons. And this was primed to be the central hellscape of the next horror franchise, the next Amityville. Then it all came to a screeching halt. Hollywood got scared, and Zach Bagans came to town. Very cool. That was a good episode, actually. Do you watch Ghost Adventures, D? Bagans describes himself as one of the world's leading researchers on ghosts and demonology. It's a 1.5-hour documentary, Demon House, about Bagans' experiences in and around the house. It premiered this past March 16th. You can probably get it on YouTube. Father Michael spoke ahead of the release date about the demons and the after effects of the house. This house is absolutely crazy. This is the case that really screwed me up, Bagans says. Demonologists believe that demons can attach themselves to you, people, objects, and electronic devices, and you do this at your own risk. If you haven't seen that, do so. All right, haunted items. Let's talk about this Dybbuk box. Zach Bagans is the sacred new owner of the original Dybbuk box that inspired the movie The Possession. Yes, he bought it's a wine cabinet, allegedly haunted by a dybbuk. It's a restless, evil spirit that can possess the living. That is a dybbuk. The dybbuk, it's Yiddish, or for malevolent, malicious spirit, and it's commonly known as the world's most haunted object. He plans to showcase this at his haunted museum in Vegas, but he will not display it open. Even Zach Bagans is too terrified to open it to do that. Okay. Dybbuk also comes from a Hebrew word meaning cling. It'll cling to you. It is malicious spirit that is bound on earth to an object or person to complete unfinished business. The Dybbuk box story that has taken the paranormal world by storm is about a small wine cabinet that was brought to America by a Polish Holocaust survivor named Havela. And she kept the box hidden away in her sewing cabinet for many, many years. In 2003, after her death, Havela's family held an estate sale where a man named Kevin Manis purchased the box in a bundle with other items. It just came with a big box. He bought the whole thing, kit and caboodle there. And he spoke later to Havela's granddaughter to make sure that she had intended to sell it. He suspected it to be a family heirloom, and he said he wanted to give it back if it was. He thought it was a mistake. But she insisted that he take it. She expressed it had sat in her grandmother's sewing room, out of reach and unopened because of the dybbuk inside. Do you know anything about the dybbuk box, Tori? Yeah, she even knew that there was a dybbuk inside. Tori, you there? You know anything about the dybbuk box? Actually, they think two kids had conjured up this, the dybbuk. I heard that it is a boy with wings, but we've never heard of it until that episode aired. The dybbuk box, yeah. Let me see. Looking at my notes. Notes. So that was supposedly brought over from the Polish Holocaust. Okay, the box came with the lore of the dybbuk. Excuse me. Okay. She had warned her daughter to never open it, and it was claimed that it held within a type of demon called the dybbuk, which had been accidentally summoned and subsequently imprisoned within the box long, long ago. But Manis bought the box anyway, but not really putting much stock in the tale. But he would soon realize there was perhaps more to this ominous and creepy legend than he could have ever imagined. Oh, that would be creepy. Ooh, not cool. Oh, it could, but who knows, right? And as soon as Manis returned home, he broke the rule not to open the box and found it contained a mix of odd items, including a wine goblet, a small granite slab with the Hebrew word shalom etched into it, a dried rosebud, a candlestick, 2 pennies from the 1920s, and strangest of all, 2 locks of human hair bound by cords. Not long after this, on that same day, strange things began to happen. And when it arrived, the box was covered with melted candle wax. He never opened it. No, these boxes are not meant to be opened, guys. There's a reason. They're trapped in there. Anyway, Manus had an incident when he left his shop to go on an errand, returned to find the place ransacked, as if someone had thrown a temper tantrum there, and nothing had been stolen. A terrified clerk at the shop also said she had seen light bulbs smashing by themselves and had heard what sounded like a disembodied voice cursing. Oddly, an isolated patch of area seemed to be infused with the scent of jasmine flowers. And Manus said of the incident, when he got back to the shop, he went to investigate. He remembers heading toward the back and walking into what he can only describe as a wall of scent, like jasmine flowers. One more step and not smell a thing. Take a step backward and be surrounded by the scent again. Manus, why would you do this? So, Manus gave the box to his mother as a present. Why would you do that? He's still not connecting. He didn't connect the strange occurrences with it. And she allegedly suffered a stroke a mere 5 minutes after receiving the box. She survived, but it partially blinded her. And surprisingly, he didn't want the box anymore and gave it back. She said she felt a malevolence emanating from it. Things got even stranger when later that day, the FBI supposedly raided Manus' shop to search it and take some electronic gear before... Yeah, seriously, why would you give that to your mom? Anyway, the FBI supposedly raided Manus' shop to search it, take some electronic gear before leaving without any explanation. What a surprise. And Men in Black were there, right? The box was then given to Manus' sister, but she too soon complained that there was some feeling of dread orbiting it and claimed that it would open on its own when no one was around. She also spoke of having potent nightmares of a scary old lady and soon gave the box back after a few days. He couldn't get rid of this thing. Nothing like loving your family. The box passed to his brother and wife, with the wife claiming it smelled like cat urine, while the brother thought it smelled like jasmine. And then it went to Manus' girlfriend. Wow. But they all complained there was something evil about it, that they had been beset by paranormal phenomena and horrifying nightmares, and refused to hold on to it for long. A customer bought the object and promptly returned it, saying it was evil. Manus finally decided to hold on to it for the time being, and he put it in his basement. Gave it to his sister, his girlfriend, his brother or wife, dear God. That evening, Manus experienced what he called some of the most potent nightmares he had ever experienced, in which he was stalked and attacked by a hunched-over old hag, a series of recurring nightmares that would haunt him for weeks, and which were even said to invade the sleep of people who stayed over. But scarier still, he claimed that upon waking from these nightmares, he would sometimes find scratches, bite marks, and bruises on his body. That's just, ooh. In addition to these nightmares, Manus claimed he began to see indistinct, shadowy figures lurking about his home, in the periphery of his vision. Guests reported this as well, and was all unsettling, to say the least, right? Manus would eventually become too spooked to keep it anymore, and he decided to sell it on eBay. There you go. Along with a full account as to how it had come into his possession, as well as its history and all the ominous phenomena associated with it. As part of the description of the box he had, I would destroy this thing in a second, except I really don't have any understanding of what I may be dealing with. I am afraid, and I do mean afraid, that if I destroy the cabinet, whatever it is that seems to have come with it may just stay here with me. I have been told there are people who shop on eBay that understand these kinds of things and look for these kinds of items. if you are one of these people, please buy this cabinet and do whatever you do with a thing like this. Help me.